I'd think we'd be twice as smart as anybody if we tried, Lauren said. What do you think of us using it as a clubhouse? I asked again. I'll have to ask my father, Ceci said. I don't think he'll mind, but he'll have to be asked. When are you going to ask him? When he gets home from work? Ceci smoothed the side of her house with the palm of her hand. Maybe after supper. What's your dumb brother Kimmy doing? Lauren asked. Reading to my mother, Ceci answered. He's helping her with the citizenship test. She can read well, but it helps her to hear the words read aloud. You know you can't become a citizen without my permission, Lauren said. Lauren Hart, shut up. Ceci spoke with finality. I don't know anybody with a real clubhouse, I said. You think your father's going to say we can use it? Tell him he'd better say yes, or I might have to come to your house and deal with him, Lauren said. You're going to deal with my father? Ceci held up her thumb and put it on the end of Lauren's nose. I don't think so. Lauren gave her a look, but he didn't say anything, and I knew he wasn't sure if he could beat Ceci or not. He had told me before that he thought Africans were tougher than they looked. I gotta go home. Lauren wiped his hands on the front of his jeans. You want to come to my house and watch television? I can't stay out too long, I said. Mom's going to some kind of meeting, and she wants me home when she leaves. David's a good boy, Ceci said. He listens to his parents. I think you want to marry him, Lauren said. If I go downstairs right now, I'll bet you'd be giving him a kiss before I get to the 3rd floor. Child, Ceci said to Lauren. You're a mere child. I'll come over for a while, I said. Why don't you check with your mother first? Ceci looked up at me. Then if you go, you'll have an easy mind. Yeah, I guess. Lauren pretended he was going to push Ceci's house down again, and grinned as she balled up her fist and shook it at him. We said goodbye to Ceci, went to our roof, and started through the door that led from the roof to the stairwell. On the stairs, Lauren said he thought the little building on the roof was too small to be a clubhouse, that we wouldn't be able to do anything in it. It'll just be a place to hang out, I said. A place to go sometime if we don't feel like going downstairs. As long as Ceci doesn't want to be there all the time, Lauren said. Ceci's okay, I said. Would you have her for a girlfriend? Lauren asked. I guess. You? I guess. I got home and found out that the meeting wasn't until 8. Mom said it would be okay for me to go to Lauren's house for a while. Make sure you're home for supper, she said. And don't you and Lauren give Mrs. Hart a hard time. Is he home? I asked, lowering my voice. You mean your brother? Mom asked, knowing I didn't mean Tyrone. I meant Reuben. No. He's working, she said, glancing at the clock over the oven. Why don't you go on before he comes home? Okay. Have fun with Lauren, she added. Lauren Hart has been my best friend for as long as I can remember. I don't even remember how we became best friends. We just started hanging out when we were in the 3rd grade and kept on doing it. He's smart, but he likes to act dumb and say dumb things. I like him to do that, too, because sometimes he's really funny. He's light-skinned, I guess because his mother is white, and kind of nice-looking. A girl in our school said that he was too pretty to be a boy. The thing I like about Lauren most is that if you do something good or do something bad, it doesn't make a difference to him. He's always the same. Also, he told me once, when we were coming home from a movie, that I was the best friend he had ever had. That meant a lot to me. When I got to his house, Lauren was watching cartoons. We watched them for almost an hour, but I was already thinking about Reuben. I woke up in the middle of the night and heard the angry voices through the door. I got up on one elbow and listened to see if I could figure out what was going on. Mom's voice was high, and she was talking in quick bunches of words. In between the tumble of words, I could hear her breathing hard. I could hear my father, too. His voice was low, almost growling. He sounded as if he had been drinking. "Ty!" I called to Tyrone and heard him stir in his sleep. "Ty!" "What?" "They're arguing again," I said. "What you waking me for?" Ty asked. I heard the rustle of the sheets as Ty slid back under the covers. I looked at the digital numbers glowing on the dresser. It was 2:33 in the morning. I sat up, switched on the lamp near my bed, and looked around for my pants. "Reuben, can you just tell me why?" Mom's voice was closer to the door. "The boys need their sleep." I got my pants up just as the door opened. For a moment I could see Reuben's shadow in the door frame. Then there was a click, and the room was filled with light. "Come on downstairs and help me to bring some stuff up," Reuben said. He was trying not to sound like he had been drinking, but I could see his eyes were red, and I could smell his breath even from across the room. I didn't say anything, just started pulling on my sneakers. "You want something to eat?" Mom had changed her voice, made it softer. Reuben shook his head and brushed past her as he left the room. She followed him. It was 2:34. I heard the kitchen door open and shut and knew that Reuben had gone out. I was still putting on my shirt when I got out to the kitchen. There were 2 5-gallon cans of floor polish sitting by the kitchen table. Mom was sitting at the table, her head down. There was a cup on the table, and I could see it was half filled with coffee. She must have been up all night. "You okay?" I asked. "Yes," Mom said, turning her face away. "He nervous?" I let the words float toward Mom, waited for an answer, and when none came, I knew that Reuben had missed taking his pills again. "Put on a jacket," Mom said. "It looks like rain." "I'm okay. You going to wake up Ty?" Mom nodded. "I'll wake him," she said. "If it's raining, come back and put on your jacket." The summer heat was trapped in the stairwell, and the whole hall was heavy and smelly. I held my breath as I ran down the 2 flights to the street. There were still a few people on the stoops. Somebody had a radio going, and a Spanish song bounced off the wall of the supermarket across the street. Down the block, I saw Earl just closing up his used furniture shop, pulling down the heavy steel gates. I stood in the doorway for a long moment, watching Reuben unloading cans from a small, light-colored pickup truck. He was working quickly, the way he does when he's nervous, stiffly swinging the cans from the back of the truck onto the sidewalk. I knew the sweat would be dripping from his forehead, and that there would be small drops of perspiration around his mouth. "Start taking this stuff upstairs," he called to me. "Where's your brother?" "Ty's coming," I answered. He put down a can real hard, and it made a clunking noise. Down the street a dog barked. The cans were heavy. I took 2, holding them by the wire handles, and had to turn sideways as I went back into the hallway. Behind me I heard Reuben calling to me to get Ty downstairs to help. I mumbled that I would under my breath. I stopped on the 2nd floor to rest for a few seconds and shake my hands because they were getting numb. I heard somebody coming down the stairs. Tyrone. "What's up?" Ty asked. "He brought some stuff home in a truck," I answered. "Where'd he get it from?" "How do I know?" Ty was older than me, but not much taller. He jerked his shoulders as he went past me down the stairs. It took 4 trips by me and 4 by Ty to get all of the cans into the apartment. After the last one, Ty and me stood on the sidewalk as Reuben tried to start the truck. It was getting cold. A light breeze picked up papers from the street and danced them down the block. A bus hissed its way across town toward Frederick Douglass Boulevard. We were still on the stoop when the truck finally started and jerked away from the curb. "How come Mom's crying?" Ty asked. "He hit her again?" "I don't think so," I said. "He brought the stuff home in Mr. Curlin's truck. Maybe it was about that." "He's just jive," Ty said. "I don't know." "Yeah, you know." In the apartment, Mom looked